Well, hello there. I hope you're ready for this new video because today we're going to see how to interact with resources. Being able to interact with resources is a very important part of any project. You will be able to move around point clouds and models as well. First, let's see how to select models one by one or as a group. So if you want to select just one model, let's say this table, you can just put your mouse over it and press Control. It will select the model. If you press Control again, it will unselect it. Now you can select as many models together as you want. For example, if I want the 4 tables together, I can just press Control over this one, Control, Control, and Control again. And now I have the 4 models together. Now if I press Escape, it will unselect all of the models that I have selected. So Escape, and now I have no model selected anymore. What I can also do to select all of these models at once is go into here at Layout and find the folder that contains all of the models. Here I know it's Workbenches, so if I click on Workbenches, it will directly select all of the models together. Once your group is selected, if you wish to move it all together, what you can do is click on Enable Move Folder and it will display the gizmo. You will see this little gizmo appear when you have one or more models selected. You can change the position of that gizmo by pressing Shift, and the gizmo will go where your mouse currently is. Then you can use that gizmo to move the objects around. So either by using the 3 little arrows, you can move them in one direction, or by using the squares, you can move them in 2 directions at the same time. And if you're using the circles, you will be able to rotate them all together. The rotation will always happen around the gizmo's position. So if I put the gizmo out there and then do the rotation, it will rotate around this position. If I put it on the middle of all of them, they will rotate around their center. There is a way to change that gizmo to have another one. You can just go right here into Settings and into General. If you go all the way down, instead of having the simple gizmo type, you can select the advanced one. The advanced one will only have one type of displacement at a time. That means that it is pretty much the same thing. Here I can move it along the little arrows or along 2 axes, or I can even move it along 3 axes at the same time, even though I wouldn't recommend doing that because in 3D it can be pretty tricky to do so. My recommendation would be moving it along 1 axis or 2 axes maximum at one time. Then if you press R on your keyboard, you will be switched to the rotation mode, which now doesn't have quarter of circles but full circles that you can use to rotate the elements around. Then again, you can use either of those circles to move the elements from one side to another. With the advanced gizmo, it's also possible to set a step. So for example, if I wish to rotate all of my elements 90 degrees by 90 degrees, what I can do is press on Alt and then use my scroll wheel to change the rotation step. Okay, so if I go all the way up to 90, just like that, then when I start using the gizmo to do the rotation, it will only rotate 90 degree by 90 degree. And it will still use the position of the gizmo as the center of rotation. It's just it will be 90 by 90, and that in all ways. And you can do the same thing with the translation mode. So if you press on T, I press Alt, and then I can change the snap grid. So that's basically, if I put it to 10 centimeters, that means that my element is going to move 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. This option will not work with the simple gizmo. Okay, it's only with the advanced one where there is a differentiation between translate mode and rotation mode. Finally, if you press S, it will display this gizmo. Now this one will only work if you're working with models. If you have a point cloud selected, it will not be displayed. This will allow you to change the size of your models, which is why it doesn't work with point clouds, because point cloud represents reality, and so you cannot change the size of reality. Now the models, you can change the size because sometimes it will be too big or too small to represent exactly what you're trying to achieve. So here, if you select one of the white ones, you will be changing the overall size of everything together. If you select one of the colored blocks right here, you will be changing it along 1 axis. So here the red is the length, here I'll only be changing the height and everything. And here just the width with this one. And finally, if you select one of the squares, you will be changing it along 2 axes at the same time, pretty much similar as to what we saw with the translation mode. To go back into translation mode, press T on your keyboard and you will find this gizmo again. You will see if I go back into settings and use the simple mode that if I press or or T for rotation and translation mode, it will not change the gizmo. However, if you press S, then you will find the same gizmo as in the advanced type, because it is similar in both modes. Now, of course, it is also possible to rotate, move, and change the size of your objects directly from the menu here on the right. So you just click on there, find your objects. I can change its position, rotation, and scale directly from here, from this menu.